Last time,
after fighting off some winter wolves, our heroes find relief from the cold in an ancient dwarven fortress. In the fortress, they encounter dragonborn that the group isn't sure is friendly or not. At the heart of the mountain, they find a gigantic dwarven city, but standing in front of it is a stone sculpture of Gerald, Dave's longtime friend and mentor.
Did you hear about the superhero with a lisp that worked out all the time? He was Thor.
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
welcome everyone to another fabulous episode of Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters. I am Kurt, Daddy the Dungeon Master. To my left we have...
I am Sam and I play Mimi,
the Elf Druid. And to your left we have Birdie, who plays Galaxy, the Elf Wizard. And to Birdie's left we have...
Trent. I'll be playing Dave,
our favorite halfling cleric. Trent, welcome back.
No.
Yay, Trent.
I think
Always a pleasure to have you.
I think he's like our second favorite, but yeah.
Our second favorite?
Okay.
Real quick. We got 2 more 5-star reviews on iTunes. First one is from Tanis Half-Elven. It's a great little reference from Dragonlance. You girls have no idea what that is, but that is the first D&D campaign that I cut my teeth on back when I was a teenager. So appreciate the reference there, Tanis Half-Elven. Simply 5 stars. Such a wonderful idea. Kudos. Thank you, Tanis Half-Elven. Next one is from VectorWork19. Absolutely charming. This is the most charming D&D podcast I have come across. The way these girls roleplay is better than some of the adults I normally play with. I'm so glad to have come across a podcast as entertaining, fun, and family-friendly as this one.
I really appreciate it.
I hope my future kids turn out as cool as these girls are. P.S. Samantha should definitely DM again. She did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, VectorWork19. So... We got Trent up to speed on where we were at, so let's play Dungeons and Dragons. All right, were you girls paying attention when we were... All right, so were you girls paying attention when I did the recap for Trent? So do you know where we're at right now? Okay.
Yes, I was listening.
All right, so you were...
City statue of Gerald.
Yep. So looking around, so this statue of Gerald that is sitting in front of you now, it's very distinctly Gerald. There's no mistaking that it's Gerald. It's life size of him, so it's just over 3 feet tall on a stone pedestal, and he's still got all of his necklaces around his neck. There's like 24 necklaces that he's got around, and the detail that got captured in all those necklaces is startling. But the other thing that jumps out at you is that Gerald does look noticeably younger in this statue. He's still got his hair. It's the shock of hair that sticks out in every direction. He's got his big old smile on his face that you know, but he looks younger. It's like, and so that just strikes you as odd. But you're not sure if maybe that has something to do with it being a statue, and they're trying to portray him as best as they can. But some other things about the statue that jumps out at you is that it does look like that there is a spot next to his statue where something else should have been. And in fact, Gerald's right arm seems to have been broken off near the shoulder, and next to his feet you see another pair of small feet that have been broken off at the ankle. So it looked like that there was another statue next to Gerald's statue that was there, but it's been busted off at some point. This is the statue, and so now behind the statue, I can describe this dwarven city a little bit more for you, because your attention was caught by the statue when you first got down here. Because as startling as this city that appeared out of the dark, the statue is what caught your eye first. But the city, it is a large city. From where you're at, you're no expert on population or city design, but it looks like that this was a city that could have held...
No, I want to do a history check.
You want? Okay, do a history check, sure.
Is this still inside the mountain? So it's in a cavern?
Correct. Yeah, but it's a huge open
I got a
cavern.
13.
You got a 13, all right.
Can I do a history check?
Sure.
Can I do a history check?
You just did one.
I want to do it again.
Because this
12.
12, okay. So with those rolls, you surmise that this city probably could have easily held 100,000 people, if not more. But there's not that many people that are milling about right now. You do see some movement, but not nearly as much movement as the city should be able to hold.
Where is the exit?
You're not sure, because the way that you came in got sealed off by the stone wall trap that Bacon, your pony, had triggered. And then we went across that wooden bridge that fell apart. So we can't go back the way that we came. So you don't know how to get out of here.
I'm very disappointed in Bacon. Tiny punishment. I will eat some of his hair.
I should also point out that you are now close enough to see the people that are milling about. They are not dwarves. They are dragonborn. At least the couple of people that you can see within
Is there
range.
guards in the town?
You don't know.
Okay, so Dave, get on Amaretto and go in the town.
Did we get a look at the people that were chasing?
Just go in the town.
That were chasing us, or did we only hear them?
We only heard them. We never got to look at them.
Well, all right, let's go into town.
No, you, not me. I'm staying back here.
Oh, you're gonna send me in alone? Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
Bacon will. Totally.
So
You're
I
going to
guess
send Dave in on his pony, and you're going to send your pony with him?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't-
For protection? Does Bacon know how to fight?
I'm gonna
Bacon
sell
smells
him.
A couple more things to describe about this large city in front of you. It is very clearly dwarven made, but there doesn't appear to be any dwarves that are living in the city now.
Maybe
So
someone killed all the dwarves but kept that statue, and they stayed there.
maybe.
What if someone's in the statue?
So
Reading a book.
reading a book?
Well, so you said we see clumps wandering around. Are they like far away, or are they?
They're a couple hundred feet away.
Oh, okay.
But it is hard to make out because it is dark in here. But there is just enough light to make out the movement and tell that they're not dwarves. They're dragonborn.
Okay.
And the light seems to be coming from. It's a greenish light that's a little bit brighter than, say, twilight. And the light seems to be coming from this green liquid that's in a moat that surrounds the city, and it looks like has been diverted off of this moat. This water runs along each of the roads and the trails throughout the town, giving off this green glow, giving everything a little bit of light.
Is it Mountain Dew?
No, it's not Mountain Dew.
You could call it that.
And green.
You're in a mountain.
That's true. We
You
could.
know.
Mountain Dew!
It's Mountain Dew. It's Mountain Dew.
All right.
Yeah.
Sprinkle it with dew.
Yep. No,
Yep.
we're in a mountain. It's lighting
Mountain
things up.
Dew.
It's green.
It's
It's
Mountain
Mountain
Dew.
Dew. So there's a river of Mountain Dew that surrounds this city and gives off
It's phosphorescent.
phosphorus. Yes, and it looks like they have diverted it throughout the rest of the city to light up everything.
Okay, so Dave, go to
Well,
town.
hold on. So the town does look like the rest of the stonework and the entrance that we originally had went through. It still looks solid, but it does look like it has fallen into disrepair. No one's been upkeeping it.
Do we have any notion of how old the city is or how long it's been?
History check.
You could do another
Well, I
history.
mean, there was a fresh statue of Gerald, so we know that was made at some point in Gerald's life.
Correct.
So,
Let me just open my bag.
well,
Do you want to try and do another history check to see if you could determine how old this city is?
You ready?
Yep.
Open the bag.
well, there
I
you
got
go.
a 22, baby.
22. All right.
Oh, another good roll. All right.
25.
25. All right. Okay.
Dwarven history experts over here.
Yep.
Early dwarven architecture.
They minored in it at wizard school. All right. So the city itself, you estimate, is probably around 1,100 years old.
1,100 years old. So that's 1,000. It's really young.
Yeah, 1,100 years
was
old.
born in.
Dave had pointed out with the statue of Gerald that's there that the statue would be much, much younger compared to the rest of the city because it obviously had to have been carved during Gerald's lifetime.
we have no reason to think Gerald is longer lived than appropriate.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we see some people. Should we approach them, or do you think we should just try to sneak around the city first and figure?
What did I say?
Well, I know you want to kick me out and send me down there by myself with a couple of horses. Which, if that's what we decide, I'll do that. But
I decide. Boom.
do we? Okay, I guess we're not gonna do any reconnoitering. So
So
I have an idea.
there is one other feature that jumps out at you with this city is that towards the back of the city, there does seem to be a large section that is actually lit up by sunlight. You can see shafts of light that is coming down from maybe 6 different angles from the top of this large open cavern, but they all look like that they were drilled and created to focus all the light on one particular area in the city. But it's far away. You'd have to go through the city to get to that get to that area.
is this what's happening? We're gonna go talk to them, or I'm gonna go talk to them because y'all are chicken.
Oh, we're going to see how much stuff is in my backpack.
Oh, we're just gonna dump
Game
out.
show. What's in Galaxy's
gonna
backpack?
Dump out Galaxy's backpack and take inventory.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll take the proverbial bull by the horns and start walking towards the group of people that we can see walking around.
All right.
Any idea what they're just kind of milling around, or does it look like there's a market in the square, or are they having some sort of ceremony, or just?
It does. They're not just lingering around. It is people that are moving back and forth. They seem to be carrying and doing chores and things like that.
Okay.
But there's no marketplace
Okay.
that you can see.
So they're moving with purpose.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Okay, let's all go except for
All
me.
right, well, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna stick to the shadows and not just boldly stride out into
Right.
the open.
Dave,
I'm gonna observe as much as I can on my
you
way
get
in.
me? like,
Before
a
you go in,
plushie,
can you
please?
roll an intelligence check for me?
Do I have a?
Do you have a modifier on your
Minus
intelligence?
1.
-1.
So that's a 2.
All right. So are you on your pony still?
I think I'm leading my pony.
You're leading your pony. Okay, but all right, then you just stride right in.
Hey, fellers.
So you go across this stone bridge that leads over the river of Mountain Dew.
Yep.
And when you get to the other side of the bridge, there's a copper dragonborn woman that's carrying a bundle of wood and sticks in her hands. And she looks up at you, wide-eyed, and drops the wood. And she takes off running. And
I didn't know Dave was scary.
she starts saying things that
But I can't understand.
that you can't understand.
Oh, well, I forgot to ask for the assistance.
That's the reason why I was doing the intelligence check, to see if you would realize that
Remember to ask for.
they're sending the one person in the group that doesn't speak Draconic into town to talk to the people
Thanks,
of
guys.
Dragonborn.
She might have said something rude.
Okay, so
about
I
you,
think
so-
maybe I'll. Do they look, like they're healthy, or do they look ragged?
They do look ragged. They look ragged. They look malnourished. They look skinny.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out some food, and the next one I see, I'm gonna maybe try to. I got to make the best of this here.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Hey,
give
or
people
ma-
some Oreos.
Maybe I could turn around and try to wave the elven princesses to come with me.
Okay. So girls,
I
you
have
see.
5.
You guys gonna
things.
come with me? Gonna
No.
come help? No.
So
Okay.
well, Dave sort of got out of your field of vision because the bridge that he went across, has a curve to it. So he went up, he got up to the top of the bridge, and he started going down. So when he got down to the other side of the bridge, you lost sight of him. So you don't have line of sight with them right
okay.
now, unless you ran over to the side and motioned to them from across the
Okay.
river.
I'm gonna go up to people because I have 5 packs of Oreos.
So the
I'm
one
gonna have some
that startled and
Oreos.
ran away, did she run into a building, or
She did run into a building. Yep.
Hey, would you like some Oreos? Hey!
I think I'm gonna go back to the princesses, and we're gonna confer some more.
Okay.
Okay, so girls, these folks look a little rough. They look like they're hungry, and they look a little ragged.
I'm
I
trying to sell them some.
I don't think they
Oreos.
have any money. I think they might, and they're very scared. They ran away from me as soon as one of them that saw me ran away.
No, I'm giving it for free.
Okay, well, they might welcome some free food for sure, but we have to get them to trust us first. So, does one of you that can speak with them want to come with me so that we can maybe communicate?
Make me go see
Or
how it
just
makes me feel.
You could cast the spell on me, and I could try it.
See how it makes me feel. I could do charm person to see if they like us.
What?
That would force them to like us.
Yeah, it would force them to like us.
So would that be good? No.
I don't know.
No! Okay, I'm going. Oreos! Free Oreos! The cookies! Delicious cookies!
So have we crossed the bridge then,
So,
all of us?
I'll say that you've gotten to the top of the bridge and you're
Okay.
working your way down.
And is she shouting?
Yeah, she's. Are you shouting it in common or draconic?
Draconic.
Okay.
Okay.
Oreos!
But there's no equivalent word for Oreo and draconic, so you're saying you're saying some strange word, and then saying the word free in draconic. So it's kind of like bibbly bloop free, bibbly bloop free, come get him, bibbly bloop.
No, can you make cookies?
Okay.
You know the draconic word for cookies.
Yeah, you know the draconic word for cookies, sure.
Is there like a person?
So you start making your way down the bridge, and you do see someone running towards you now. And it's the same dragonborn woman that you saw before that ran into the building.
I'm talking in Draconic.
Draconic.
Hola. Hello.
You speak to her in draconic Spanish.
Hola.
She seems frazzled, she seems out of breath, and she runs up to you. And because Galaxy's been screaming out, free cookies from the bridge, you do notice that there are other dragonborn that they're stopping what they're doing, they're looking at us. And this woman runs up to you. So who would be in the lead?
Me.
You're in front? Okay. She runs up and she grabs your hands. And she says in draconic, "Please, you must come with me. Please."
Okay.
What is she saying?
We have to come with her. I'm coming.
Like, right now. And she drags you by the hand and starts pulling you towards one of the buildings nearby.
Cookies! Get your fit. No one has. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, we're following.
You understand draconic, so you would have heard what she had said.
I'm like, okay, I'll just.
I'm gonna tag along with her and go into the building.
She pulls you into this stone building. It's probably about four stories tall, and it's got a fairly large door to enter in on the ground level. And she pulls you in, including the ponies. She insists that everything comes inside the building. And once you get inside,
My pickle?
you don't have a pickle. But she gets all of you inside, including your ponies, and then she shuts the door behind you. And that's when she says, "Thank goodness you are here. We need your help.
What is it?
You must speak to the diviner.
Where's the diviner?
The diviner, he is further into the city, and I must bring you to him
Why?
so you can help us,
Why?
so we can help you.
So what do you need help for?
I will let the diviner tell you that."
What is she saying?
You two are having this whole conversation. So Dave, you're just looking back and forth between the two of them, not understanding a word that's coming out of their mouths. "I believe that the gods have sent you to us to help."
Michigan. Okay, let's go. Michigan.
And so this woman says, It will be hard to get you further into the city with the horses."
Can we keep the horses here and then when we're done come back here?
Yes.
But if you do anything to Tiny Ginger,
It's just until you talk to the diviner and we convince the people that you are the heroes that have come to help. Then we
wait,
can
one
safely
second,
get the ponies.
why is there a statue of Gerald up in the front?
You know Gerald?
Oh yeah, he sacrificed himself so I wouldn't be a werewolf.
I don't know anything about that, but Gerald.
He died.
He died?
Yeah.
When?
Sadly. Look, a year ago.
Oh, and she puts her head in her hand and she's like, "Oh, this is terrible news."
Don't die, don't worry.
He tried to help us. He was another hero that came. Him and Milo. They came last year and they tried to defeat Zelane, but they were unsuccessful.
Wait, was Milo? Did there used to be a statue of Milo up there?
Yeah. It's the dreadnoughts tore it down though.
Why?
because Milo, there was a statue of Milo, and Milo took Zelane's eye. The dreadnoughts didn't like that, and so they tore Milo's statue down.
So who is this guy you're talking about? Not Milo, but the other guy?
Zelane, he is the giant further into the mountain, and he is the reason why we live the way that we do. And we need your help.
But wait, where's the eye of this guy?
Milo stabbed Zelane in the eye and took out his right eye.
And where is it?
It's gone. It died. It decomposed into the dirt, into the stone.
What did she say?
Okay, so can you give us directions?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like we need to leave the ponies here, and I will bring you into the city, and you can talk to the diviner.
Okay.
All right. So do you tie up your ponies, or so what do you do?
Yeah, I'll tie the ponies up and make sure they've got some food and water. To
But
eat
you have no idea
while
why.
They wait, but I don't know what's going on. Well,
Baking some Oreos.
yeah.
We have to go follow this lady. Oh, what's your
Okay.
name again?
You didn't ask her name.
Oh, I'm speaking Julia. What's your name?
My name is Hethris.
I was close. I said Hera and it's Heather, so yeah.
And I do want to point out that she is a copper dragonborn, so she has the same colored scales that you're used to seeing on Jet.
Wait, I thought Jed was red.
Nope.
No!
Okay, so girls, can I get a rundown? What's happening?
So we're gonna follow this lady so we can stop this giant in the mountain, and so we have to talk to this person, and then we are the heroes, and yeah.
That's very concise. Thank you. Are we taking the horses with us, or are we gonna leave them here?
We have to leave them here soon.
Okay. Well.
Bye, 30 Jojo.
Okay. I'll tie them up and make sure they're fed and watered then, and we can skedaddle.
All right.
All right.
So
Can I have the comprehend languages? Would that be okay, please?
do you have that spell prepared? Galaxy, do you have comprehend languages?
I haven't picked my spells.
Oh, this would be a good time to pick those spells. Wouldn't that be hilarious if she still doesn't pick that spell to have prepared?
That would be awesome.
Okay.
All right, so whatever spells that you didn't pick, put those off to the side.
What's
'Cause-
comprehend languages? Which one is comprehend languages?
The one that says comprehend languages. I think it's a level 1 spell.
It's a level 1. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
So comprehend languages, that lasts for an hour. So comprehend languages, it will allow you to understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear. You also understand any written language that you see, but you need to be touching the surface to be able to read it.
It doesn't mean I can speak.
That's correct. You just understand it. So at least for the next hour, if she does cast it on you, then you won't be in the dark on the conversations that are happening.
But at least you can
Don't
hear
pass it. Don't.
Can I please?
I'll cast it.
Okay.
No! Because you want to talk something bad about Dave, don't you? No.
So you get your ponies prepared. You set out some food, water, or anything else to make them content while you're gone. And then Galaxy, you pull out your magic wand and you wave it over Dave's head.
Why can't I do it with my hand?
Sure, you can do it with your hand.
Yay.
So what is it? So if you want to do it with your hand, do you want to describe it? What is it? What does comprehend languages? What does that spell look like when you cast it?
It's yellow. It looks like pee. So I put it over his head. Yellow. It looks like water if it's yellow.
So you're spraying
Drips
me in the
down
face
on
with
his
yellow
head.
water?
On his head.
Okay.
Like 10 drops.
Like-
And then he is comprehend language.
All right.
Galaxy, your spells are so messy.
No, it's just this one. I made it like that.
And so now you can understand Hethris when she says, "All right, come with me. Come with me. We must go."
Oh, do you understand that? I'm saying Ola
Thank you.
I'm saying Ola in Dragon Conic thingy biggy bee. I'm saying Ola, 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 Ola.
And Dave understands all of that.
Ola, Ola.
Hethris leads you further back into this building to a door that leads out the back. She's taking you out the back way. And she opens up that door and she pokes her head out. And she looks back and forth and she waves you with her hand towards her.
I walk in casual.
And then she pauses for a moment. She looks back at you and she asks, Do you have cloaks that you can pull up?
I have a cloak.
Okay.
No.
And little one, is there any way that you could make yourself look taller?
He can just get.
Well, I suppose you could pass for a child. So, but just pull your cloak up and just make sure that
I don't
your
have a
skin does not
cloak.
get shown to anyone.
But I have a hood.
Yes, pull that up.
I'll put on
But
my gloves.
especially the little one, since the heroes of Gerald and Milo,
He has a name.
people love halflings, and if anyone sees him here, they will stop him
Why?
because they love halflings.
Wait. He has a name. His name is Surfer Boy.
So, okay, Surfer boy, make sure you stay covered.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, what were your names?
Oh, my name is Mimi, and this is Buttface.
Mimi, Buttface, and Surfer boy.
Actually, my name is Galaxy, and his name is Ferocious Tiger.
Ferocious tiger, surfer guy.
Yeah.
Galaxy, Mimi, got it.
It's
Okay.
Oh, no, but his name is Surfer Boy, not Surfer Guy.
Oh, Surfer boy.
He hates being called Surfer Guy, right? Surfer, like fiercest tiger, Surfer Boy.
This is you have a very long name, Ferocious Tiger Surfer Boy.
Just call him Surfer Boy.
Surfer Boy for short. Okay, we don't have time for this. Surfer Boy, follow me.
Oh, this is amazing. Finally, we get to change our name. And I'm just telling everyone.
What's wrong with Dave?
It doesn't sound cool.
Hey.
So she takes you out into this alley, and there is a small trail of Mountain Dew that goes along the side that is lighting it up.
I take my empty water cup.
You should
I-
ask her what that stuff is.
What is that Mountain Dew?
I don't know what this Mountain Dew is, but
It's Mountain
It's-
Dew. It's a soda. So I put it in my water, my empty water bottle, and I drink it for the road.
and you drink it.
What does it taste like?
You might want to
Mountain
know
Dew.
what it is first.
Can you?
Mountain Dew.
Just because it's called Mountain Dew doesn't
So-
mean it's drinkable.
Galaxy, roll initiative for me. I want to see who can react.
Initiative?
Who can react first?
Oh.
You got a natural 20? All right. So you very quickly and very confidently pull out your flask or cup or whatever your drinking device is, dip it into the water, and start gulping it down right away. And just once you get to the second gulp, that's when Hethris, wait, no!
What is it?
Now I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
What is that? Am I gonna die?
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
What is that poison?
Never drink strange liquids in an old dwarven city.
Lesson learned.
It's this is just it's the magical liquid that lights up the water, but it's not safe to drink.
I got 19.
You got a 19? Okay. So you drink it down and it tasted terrible and it smelled bad. And when it hits your stomach, it's like you feel your stomach grumbling a little bit, but you let out a belch. You don't feel great, but
I'm still good. No, I don't. I don't do the reaction. Hey, Mimi, you want to try some?
it's just
No, thank you.
so she looks at Galaxy and says, "Okay, so are you all right? Can you travel?"
Yes.
Excellent. Don't drink the water.
Wait, that's water?
Well, don't drink the Mountain Dew. And she goes to the end of the alley and she looks around and she waves her hand again and she runs out, expecting the three of you to follow quickly after her.
Following. I'm running.
All right, I need
But I'm super hot in my cloak and my helmet, so yeah.
all three of you to roll a stealth check for me.
17 plus 3.
I got 10. I got 10. I got a 7 plus 3, so guys.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, Dave, what did you have?
I have a 20, but it's a 17 plus 3.
All right, unnatural 20. All right. So it was a 20, a 10, and a 13? Okay. So I'm going to go by the average of the group. And so that 20 really did help out. So there's a couple stumbles along the way. And for a moment there you catch the eye of another dragonborn across the street, but quickly pull up your hood and break eye contact and keep moving, and nothing happens after that. But you make your way through the town. You go in about 3 or 4 blocks in. And again, just to reinforce this is an old city, and it looked like it did house many, many people at one point in time. And so where you're at in the city now, the smallest structure or building is 4 stories tall that's around you right now.
The smallest?
Yeah, the smallest. So they're large stone buildings and structures that are all around you. And Hethris brings you down the alley next to one of the taller buildings and comes to a door and motions for you to come in. She leads you into the building, and she actually takes you down some stairs inside this building. So she's starting to take you into the lower levels, into the basement of it. And that's when you come to a room that is lit up with dozens of candles, burning incense. But there is, you immediately pick up the smell of sick, of old bodily fluids being in here. It doesn't smell great. And there is you see a dragonborn, a very, very old dragonborn that is lying in a bed piled up with furs, and just his face is visible, and it's wrinkled. Scales are falling off of his face, and the little bits that you can actually see of him, he's visually shaking. Like he has such a terrible fever that even all the furs and blankets that are piled up on top of him can't keep him warm. And this is when Hethra says, This is the diviner.
Oh, is he like a king?
He's like our wise one.
Wise one. Hello.
And he slowly turns his face towards you.
Are you dying?
He's like, I am very sick, yes. But my name is Tarhun.
Is that Rune?
Tarhun.
Thor?
And he's a green dragonborn. I saw this moment. I saw that the 3 of you would come to our city and you would be able to help us.
Does Tarhun by any chance speak common?
Do you say anything out loud?
Do I?
Yeah.
What ails you, Tarhun?
Tarhun, he looks at you. He says, "Oh." He says this in common now. He says, "A halfling. Ah, that's right. That's right. So good to see one of you little ones again. You did. We could really use your help, Dave." And that's when. Oh, hold on. And that's when Hethris speaks up. "No, wise one. His name is Surfer Boy." Tarhun looks at Hethris and looks back at Dave. Is like, I believe it's Dave, not Surfer Boy.
No, Dave is Superboy in the language he speaks.
Oh,
apologies, Tarhun. My traveling companions like to put me in awkward situations.
Dave, Surfer Boy. We're so glad that you're here, because we need your help to defeat the fire giant Zelane.
What? Dun, dun, dun!
Gerald and Milo last year very nearly succeeded. And that's why we had erected the statues of them. But the dreadnoughts, they serve Zelane. And from what I saw of your coming as well, you have a problem. You need to get back home.
Yes. A vampire
Yes,
put us here.
we don't know where we are.
A vampire put us here, and we don't know how to get out.
Is Milo still here?
Milo died in the attempt to defeat Zelane.
Okay.
And Gerald left after that.
I think Surfer Boy has something to tell you.
I wanted to ask, would you like
No. He has to say something about Gerald.
Oh, yes. Well, Gerald was a dear friend of mine from a long time back, and unfortunately he passed recently, helping us in a very dire situation.
And he closes his eyes in grief and takes a deep breath, and that's very terrible to hear. He was a great man.
He truly was. Sir, I have some ability in the healing arts. Would you like me to see if there's anything I can do for you?
You're a healer.
I am a cleric, sir, a priest of Mishikal.
And his eyes get wide, and he looks at Hathras, and she looks back at him wide-eyed. And he says, I did not think to hope that we have no healers in this town. Yes, please. But I'm on death's door, and I understand if you would not be successful.
Okay, well, I'm going to cast Prayer of Healing. Are there other people in this room that are also ill?
No, it's just him.
Okay,
just
well,
him.
I'm going to cast Prayer of Healing.
Okay.
So it takes 10 minutes.
All right. So this is a pretty powerful healing spell then.
It's 2.
Yeah, casting time 10 minutes. Up to 6 creatures of your choice that you can see within range. Each regain hit points equal to 2d8 plus your spell casting ability modifier. Spell has no effect on undead or constructs. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, the healing increases by 1d8 for each slot level above 2nd. Okay.
10 minutes later. Ooh.
Okay.
So, Prayer of Healing. So on my knees, holding my divine symbol of Mishikal, entreating my deity on behalf of this individual.
Okay.
Can't remember his name.
Tarhun.
Tarhun. And 10 minutes later, divine light, I hope.
Divine light comes out of your hands and encompasses the entire area. And so everyone gets a feeling of the warm glow of Mishikal. Hathras drops to her knees and holds her hands together and closes her eyes, and she's got a huge smile on her face. And the light settles down around Tarhun, and after a moment, the muscles in his face relax. He stops shaking, his eyes open up, and he starts to sit up, and he starts moving the pelts and furs and blankets off of him. He's still very old. He's still a very old man, but he looks much better than what he was before, and he stands up and he arcs his back with it, knuckling the lower part of his spine, and you can hear the cracks come out as the vertebrae start to straighten out, and
Like, was he sick for a while?
you're not sure.
Were you sick for a long time?
And he says, Dave, Surfer Boy, thank you so much. I haven't felt this well in 10 years.
So you were
I'm
sick
happy
for
I could help.
So you were sick for like 10 years. You were sick for like 10 years.
No, this was an illness that just came upon me in the last couple of months. But I'm a very old man, and 10 years ago I was a younger man and felt better then. And I wonder, and he bends down, and you hear the cracking of ligaments in his knees as he gets down. He's oh,
I can do that.
oh, and he stands back up. He's like, I haven't been able to do that for quite a while.
It's cracked my
Thank
leg.
you, Dave Surfer Boy.
You're welcome, Tarhun. How would you suggest we approach solving your problem?
Well, you won't be able to get to the other side of the mountain where the giant Zelane is without help. We have scouts that can bring you through, that can show you the way, but no one will help you until you gain the people's trust.
Do your people have enough food, sir?
No, being underground, we don't have a great way of growing a lot of food, and most of the livestock are being killed by some basilisks that live in the area. We could talk to Grethen. Grethen oversees the farming of the town. And if you could get him on your side, then, well, hearts often follow the stomach.
Understood. I also have it within my power to create a small amount of food that would feed a few people, if you believe that would help.
That may help in the short term. It may help with a family.
Maybe if we feed some kids, because then they could grow a little
be
better.
Well, let's go talk to
Grethen.
Grethen.
Sorry, lots of
Yeah.
exotic names I'm throwing at you. And Tarhun says, "All right, I will take you to Grethen. It's but keep those cloaks up, and because until we make more friends in the city. We can't have people knowing that you're here.
Are you left to yourselves, or are you slaves to this fire giant?
The fire giant comes in and he takes any dragonborn that are red or gold dragonborn. They can tolerate the heat and the fire better than the rest of us. And so his dreadnoughts are all the gold and red dragonborns. And they come in and they take whatever they want.
Are they under some sort of compulsion? Or they're...
I wish. Then there might be something that we can do about it. These dragonborn feel like that they're better than the rest of us, and they serve willingly. So that's why it's so dangerous. That's why it's so difficult to get to the other side of the mountain, is because the golds and the reds, they patrol all the ways in. And so, but we do know of other ways around that, but you need a guide because it comes very close to the Underdark to get to the other side of the mountain.
You know your Mountain Dew?
Yes, the Mountain Dew.
What is it made out of?
It's just water that's been... The dwarves that used to live here, they imbued it with some sort of magic to make it glow.
Okay,
But it is just water, but it's just dirty water. Don't drink it.
She drank it.
Galaxy just sort of hides her face. Just
And then she's like, who?
Galaxy, you are all right? You did not get sick?
No. I just had a little cramp. A little.
Well, you must have a strong constitution. That bodes well. Because we need strong heroes to fight against Zelane.
Well,
Yes, I'm a wizard, so
should we go visit the
Greethan.
farmer, Greethan, and see if we can help with their food supply? Maybe then we can get some folks to help us out with this fire giant.
Okay.
dog.
Let's all right, so they're going to lead you out of this building again, and I need everyone to roll stealth checks one more time.
Check.
Still.
Oh dear. 5.
Okay?
Let me just 19.
19, all right.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got a 5, a 2, a 2, and 2 19s. I think that's taking the average, that's not quite going to be good enough.
Oh dear.
But 19s are good. The 19s are good.
And that's what. So you're following behind Hethris and Tarhun, and they turn a corner, and they run into another dragonborn, and they're carrying bundles of cloth, and they're very loaded down with carrying materials, and they look up and make eye contact with all three of you. They see underneath your cloaks and see that you're a halfling and see that you're 2 elves, and their eyes go wide. But then the eyes settle back on to Dave, and she yells out in Draconic, "A halfling! We're saved!"
No.
I'm the one saving you.
All right, so is not going to be an attack, but I want everyone to roll initiative because I want to see who can react fastest.
17. A natural 1.
A natural 1. Okay.
14.
Okay. So the dragonborn that you encountered had a very good initiative, but both Hethris and Tarhun, they got incredible initiatives.
Natural 20s?
Both of them got a natural 20 on their initiative. So just as like the last word escaped this dragonborn's mouth, both of them reach forward and clamp their clawed hands over this person's mouth and grab her arms and pull her to the side of the building, and they start having whispered conversations. And you see Tarhun make the gesture with he brings a finger up to his mouth and goes, "Shh." And they manage to convince her to not make any more noise. And he turns back to the three of you and he gives a thumbs up. And he starts moving with you again through the city. But he starts leading you towards the outskirts of the city, of where there aren't as many buildings, and it looks like that there's some open area. And so he does bring you to an area that's fairly flat and doesn't and it is surrounded by buildings, but it's a large, flat, open area within the city, and it looks like this is what they constitute as a quote-unquote farm. But they're not growing crops because there's no sunlight that's down here, or they're not growing traditional crops. But what you can tell is that it does look like that they are growing they're growing mushrooms, and it looks like some sort of plant, some sort of maybe an algae or something like that. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it's basically they're growing things that doesn't require a lot of sunlight to grow. And they have it looks like they piled up a lot of dirt and a lot of organic matter and old wood that they've taken from various things and set up mushroom logs, and are growing huge mushrooms off of these things. So again, the food that they're growing doesn't look very appetizing, and it doesn't look like it's a lot, especially considering how many dragonborn are actually living in this city. If this is meant to supply all of them, you can tell why everyone is so sickly and skinny looking. Tarhoon walks up, and there is a dragonborn who's bent over and is working in the field, and he's picking up mushrooms, large mushrooms that he's pulling off of the logs, and he's throwing them over his shoulder into this huge sack that sits on top of his back. And he's an older dragonborn as well. And it looks like that he's been doing this for a while, because he's hunched over because of the huge sack that's on his back, but you get the impression that even if you took that sack off, he would still be hunched over with how long that he's been doing this work for. And he doesn't notice you as you walk up, because he's busy farming the mushrooms.
I say this in draconic thingy, baby. I say, "Hola!"
So he stops. He's about ready to pick another mushroom, and he looks up. His eyes go wide, and he startles for a moment, and he goes, "Tarhoon, who are these people?"
Hola, hola.
Oh.
Oh, no. This is Surfer Boy, and this is Galaxy, and I'm Mimi.
Surfer Boy, Galaxy, and Mimi. Tarhoon, Hethris, who are these strangers? And Tarhoon says, "They are the heroes that I foresaw. They will help us defeat Zelane."
Is he speaking Draconic again?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Wait, has an hour
What does
passed?
he say?
Has an hour passed
Nope,
by?
an hour has not
okay,
passed by
I still
yet.
have the spell. All
Yeah,
right.
so you can still hear them. Tarhoon says to Grethen, we need to get the people on our side to help them get over to the other side of the mountain to defeat Zelane. What do you suggest? Because I know we need food. This one, the halfling, he can create food and water temporarily, but we need a long-term solution. And Grethen, he rubs his chin with his scaled hand, and he says, "There's two things that I can think of. The first one would be if they could secure the sunlight again for us, we could start growing real crops down here. The other thing I can think of
I can do that, I think.
is if they can find and kill the creature that's been killing the livestock. That would help as well. The children would find that particularly funny if they were able to do that one.
What is keeping you from using the sunlight?
The reason that we can't use that sunlight area is because there are Otyugs in the area. They're terrible monsters that wait in the area for any creature to come by. They're large, and they're always hungry.
Should we go after the creature that's eating the livestock, or should we go after the Otyugs?
The Otyug.
Otyugs.
So and then Tarhoon says, now the second thing, the reason why the children would think it's hilarious is because the creature that's been eating the livestock, they've nicknamed Poop Poop. So you would be on a Poop Poop hunt.
A poo-poo hunt. We're known for that.
No.
So it's the creature they think is a giant rat. However, rats don't turn people to stone.
Is it Medusa?
Well, basilisks can do that.
I bet it's Medusa. We're gonna see Medusa.
So, wait, what do we have? What do we have in our abilities, or with us that could help us defend against being turned to stone?
Well, do you want to like roll a Arcana check for me?
Well, I kind of feel like
Sam.
Galaxy should roll the Arcana check.
Yeah, I'm really good at Arcana.
Yeah. See what we can do to prevent being turned to stone by the basilisk.
Okay, let's see.
Assuming it is a basilisk.
I got a 19.
You got a 19? Okay.
Yep, a natural 19.
Right. So, okay. So, Galaxy, you know that if someone gets turned to stone by a Medusa or a basilisk, which you're thinking is probably a basilisk is the creature that they're referring to here, is that if the creature is petrified until freed by a greater restoration spell or other magic. And because you got a 19 for that, you also know that you do recall reading something about that if you can get a hold of a basilisk's stomach, the chemicals that are in it could potentially be used to create a potion that will change someone back to flesh from stone. Because in fact, that's how a basilisk eats. It turns its prey to stone, then eats the stone, but inside the stomach, the stone gets turned back into flesh, and that's how it gets its nourishment from the creatures.
Okay, so we got to go find a stomach, I guess. Because I don't have one of those remove
Greater restoration.
greater restorations.
All right.
Are we going to do that, or do you want to do the other one with the sunlight?
No, I don't want to do sunlight.
You want to do the basilisk?
Like
All right.
mage hand help?
So,
I don't know. So Mage Hand may help if you didn't want to get your hands dirty as you were carving up the basilisk to get at the organ inside of it.
Okay.
But first, you have to find Poop Poop.
where will we begin looking for poop poop?
And Greethid says, further to the east is the area that we keep what livestock that we have, and it's there that that Poop Poop has been coming out and killing them. We thought about moving the livestock further in town, but we're afraid that Poop Poop will start going after the people then if it starts coming in town looking for food. So our only choice has been to keep the livestock out there, but they're slowly being picked off, and we need them. It usually comes out at night, which down here is hard to tell by, but you can tell by the lighted area that when that goes dark, then the basilisk usually comes. So what are you going to do for your plan? Are you just going to like camp out, wait for the thing to show up?
Maybe take the livestock that it seems to prefer and tie one up, use it as bait, and keep an eye on it.
Okay.
In an open area so that the monster has to show itself.
All right. So you get out there, and there is a pig pen that's there.
Can I get
They do have bacon.
Let's kill the pigs!
Or do I get a pet pig?
Are you going to try and take an animal out of the pen and maybe lead it
No, is
further
there a
away,
person
or are
there?
you going to try and tie one up that's in the pen right
Is there a
now?
person?
Well,
there?
I want to
No, there's
communicate.
no
I want to communicate with Greetha in one way or another to find out where the attacks usually happen, where the animals are taken from, then stake the animal
Greetha?
near there, but keep the others penned up.
Okay.
Grayson, how much would you like for one of these pigs? Like, can I buy a pig?
We don't have any. We don't have money. We barter for everything. We have so little. So you would have to trade me something of equal or greater value to the pig.
What if?
Would you take
And
a
he also
teddy
says
bear?
the pigs do tend to be the favorite animal of Poop Poop.
Would you?
Okay.
And
Would you take banana? Would you take a banana?
a single banana is like, no, that would not be
Wait,
enough.
would you take a banana and rhubarb pie? I baked a fresh pie.
You do not have rhubarb pie. That thing would be so moldy and old by now.
No, I freshly baked it.
When did you freshly bake a rhubarb
When
pie?
I was in the town.
Would you like some?
When I was in my hobo house.
I I have a necklace that is really valuable. Would you take that for a pig?
Can you eat the necklace?
No, but you could trade it in for stuff.
For what though?
For other
to who?
to like other people, to other dragonborns. that
Gold
take
and
things.
jewelry have no value here. If you
Would
can't
you take a teddy bear?
a teddy bear for a pig, no.
What will you take?
If
Would you take a
if you can get a second basilisk stomach, I will trade a pig for that.
You have to get a second.
You already have one?
Well, no, because when you kill,
doorknob?
no, he's referring. So when you kill Poop Poop, right? So that will endear yourself to the children and the townsfolk to gain their trust. And if you get the stomach that's out of that, then he's assuming that's already been committed to someone, or someone else is going to be taking that. So he's assuming that he wants his own basilisk stomach. So you would have to get a second one for him to have
We
it.
have to get a second.
Okay, well, we got to concentrate on Poop Poop
I need
first.
a
We can go on a basilisk hunt after.
But I need a pig.
I can make some bacon.
One thing at a time.
They need all their pigs for food right now. Maybe they'll be grateful if we save them, and then we can come back later and maybe they'll let you have a piglet.
Wait.
A baby pig.
So
Surfer boy,
Grethen also
surfer
says
boy.
that the Poop Poop will go after the easiest prey that it can find. So if you take one of the pigs and tie it up further away to the east, that's the direction that Poop Poop usually comes from. And so if it sees a pig that's tied up and outside of the pen, it should go for it.
Okay,
Can't kill a pig.
we're not going to kill the pig. We're going to kill the basilisk. We're going to protect the pig. That's our goal.
Fine. But you're the one tying him up, surfer boy.
Surfer boy.
All right.
All right, so
I'm not above wrestling livestock.
all right, so you hop over the fence to the pig pen. Roll into animal handling for me there, Dave.
18 total.
Oh, okay. I thought there was going to be some comedic antics that happens off of this, but yeah, no problem. You get in there.
Dave's an old hand at livestock.
Yeah, you get the rope tied up beforehand, and you got a loop on it, and you manage to get it around the pig's neck real quick, and tighten it, squeals a little bit.
Dungeon Master, I climb into the pig pen, and I see all the baby little piglets, and I'm like,
Well, there's no piglets in there right now.
baby pigs.
There's no baby pigs in there right now. They're all regular sized pigs. There's like 3 pigs total.
You know how?
Oh,
when
that's
you're-
all?
Yeah, that's all.
Well, they really are in dire straits. Okay.
You know how there's a spell that says that is one that you could cast an animal.
Like speak with animals.
No, cast one.
Oh, I mean like summon. Oh, like
conjure an animal?
Mimi can summon animals. Yeah.
You could do a pig
Out
and
of
it could
nothing,
go on.
or
Yeah.
And if it tries to go on it, it's bait.
is it a permanent summon? Or
It only lasts for an hour.
Oh.
Because then we wouldn't be actually hurting a pig.
Yeah, can we do that instead of using a real pig?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. Mimi.
And then when it comes out to it, we could grab it and
Surfer boy.
But again, it does only last for an hour.
Oh, okay.
So if you put it out there and the basilisk doesn't show up, she's going to have to recast the spell and potentially use up a lot of spell slots. to do it.
What if we wait?
We'll risk the living pig and count on
No,
our
I'll use
count
some
on our
spells,
mad skills to save it.
She'll risk the
Mishikal
spells.
will not
She-
allow us to fail.
No, she said she will risk a spell slot.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't know when the basilisk is going to show up. We just know sometime after dark. So if it only lasts for an hour, you could end up recasting that thing all night long and using up all of your mojo. So let's either.
Oh, sorry. Your voice was so boring when I fell asleep.
I know. I have that same problem when you talk too. So let's.
What?
You lead the basilisk out of the pig pen and lead it away from the other pigs, out to the east towards the wild area, I suppose, of like this is where the city ends, and then you start getting into the natural stone of the mountain and the cracks and crevices and tunnels that lead throughout it. And so you find a spot, and do you just stake it into the ground, tied to the rope, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, there's got to be something nearby that we could tie the rope to.
I have a rope.
Stake into the ground. I don't know if the ground is solid stone. We won't be staking into that. But
There's definitely plenty of stone that you could tie a rope around and secure the pig.
we'll figure out a way to secure it.
I have a rope.
In an area that is plain sight, but we can easily watch for approaching critters.
Okay. All right. So you stake the pig. Nighttime comes. I want the three of you to roll a survival check for me because you're hunting now.
11.
13.
Okay.
Is it survival?
Survival. Yep.
So
12. Okay. So I think we got like an average of 12 with the three of you. Okay. So you all hide, waiting, watching for Poop Poop to come out and go after the pig. And after waiting 2 hours, you start to hear some noise coming from a nearby cave. And you see in the low light, you see a basilisk. So the basilisk has got glowing blue eyes. It's got red rock-like scales that sticks out from the top of it, and it has 8 legs. And I'd say it's about 7 feet long from head to tail. And it comes lumbering out on its 8 legs, and it makes eye contact with the pig.
And
the pig starts to squeal, and it starts yanking on the rope that it's on, trying to get away. And that's when the basilisk charges forward and starts running with a growl.
And then I stand in front and say, hold it.
All right, so let's do initiative.
I'm kidding.
Start this encounter.
7.
7 for Mimi.
6.
6 for Dave.
Initiative?
Yep, initiative.
22.
22.
I believe I would go first.
Galaxy, you get to go first.
Blast it, Galaxy.
Lightning bolt!
Lightning bolts, very
Dum,
nice.
dum.
What's your spell save DC?
16.
16. Okay. The basilisk does not save, so I need you to roll 8d6, and that's how much lightning damage it would take.
8d6?
So you jump out with your magic wand and shoot it out at the basilisk, and this huge bolt of lightning streaks out and hits the basilisk in its side.
8 of these?
Yep, 8 of those.
So you could roll the 4 twice.
And thunder crashes out and reverberates across the area in the city.
Okay. 11, 16, 18, 29, 34.
34.
Is he dead?
No, he is not dead, but he is not
Not
looking
happy
great.
with
Sends it sprawling, and it screams like, "Ah!" And that's when it looks at you. And its glowing blue eyes settle on you, Galaxy, and I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw. Yeah, what's your Constitution saving throw?
0.
You have 0 for it? Okay, what?
15.
15? Okay, that's good enough. All right, so you managed to divert your eyes just in time, but you could feel the magic coming from this creature's eyes that it was trying to turn you to stone. So next is going to be Mimi.
First, get to the microphone.
Yes.
And then you see some fire. And then
Well, no,
chuck it.
let's be clear. Are you using a fireball? Because that's when you take a gem
Fire
from your
sphere-
magical
fire
helmet.
sphere.
Flaming sphere is what you're going to be casting. Okay.
She has a magical helmet with gems that make fireballs?
Yes. Oh,
And other stuff.
that reminds me. I forgot to tell you. Is next time you're supposed to have advantage on your initiatives
Oh, okay.
because one of the magic item that Dave had gotten
Oh, it does say it on there.
is that you got it's called a Dagger of Warning, and so it makes it so that you can never be surprised. The dagger always warns you when you're about to be attacked, and so it also gives you advantage on initiatives. All right, so Flaming Sphere. So you cast this and can move the sphere. It's a bonus action to cast it. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it is one action. You use a bonus action to move it. All right, so you cast Flaming Sphere, and creature needs to make a Dexterity saving throw. What's your spell save DC? 14. All right, so the basilisk does save against this spell. All right, so there'd be 3d6. Roll 3d6, and it's going to take half of that damage then. Take 6. Okay. All right, so you cast 5-foot wide flaming sphere and slam it into the basilisk. Now I need.
It might not be 6 because it's 11.
Oh, it should be 5 then.
Oh, okay.
I round down with that, which is okay. So the flaming sphere slams into the basilisk, but it manages to jump out of the way just enough. But the flame does catch it on the hindquarters, like on the back 3 legs. And I need you now to roll a Constitution saving throw because its blue magic eyes now look at you, and you can feel the magic starting to come from this creature at you. All right, you save as well. So you divert your eyes very quickly as well. And you felt the magic starting to creep over you, but you diverted your eyes just in time, and so you are unaffected by it. So now it's the basilisk's turn. Actually, both Dave and the basilisk got the same, but Dave, the house rule that I have is that whoever has the highest intelligence actually gets to go first. So Dave, you actually get to go first. You are smarter than a basilisk. You are smarter than poop poop.
Yay! All right, so I'm gonna do. How far away is it?
Right now it's within 30 feet.
And what's normal melee range?
5 feet. So yeah,
I'm
you
gonna do spiritual weapon then.
Okay.
That's got a 60-foot range.
All right.
So it says casting time is 1 bonus action, so I guess that just uses the bonus action.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and it doesn't say anything about a 2-hit on there. Do I still have to roll to see if it hits?
You do roll it like a melee attack.
7.
Wait, was that's a natural one?
Yeah, it's a natural.
All right. You jump out with Mimi and Galaxy, and you cast spiritual weapon, and so the spiritual weapon appears right next to the basilisk, and you're about to make the motion to attack with it. But just as you do that, your foot catches on some loose gravel, and your feet slip out from behind you, and you fall on the ground, and you are prone, and this causes your spiritual weapon to shoot straight up into the air about 20 feet above the basilisk right now.
Good old Dave. Thanks for your support, Galaxy.
So you're on the ground looking at the basilisk, and its blue eyes now look at you. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. 12.
12?
Yeah.
That is just good enough to not be turned to stone. All right, so now it is the basilisk's turn. And who is the closest to the basilisk? Actually, no, scratch that. No, the basilisk has already taken a ton of damage, but it's hungry. So it's gonna dive straight for the pig. So the basilisk charges forward. You can tell it tries to turn the pig to stone, but this pig has a very good constitution, and the pig does not turn to stone.
You picked a good pig.
So not being discouraged, the basilisk then goes in for a regular attack, and goes up and bites the pig, and immediately kills the pig. Breaks the pig's neck, and grabs the pig in its mouth, and it turns around and starts running away. So it's still within 30 feet of all of you, but the basilisk now has the pig in its mouth. Galaxy, it is your turn now. So the basilisk is running away with the now dead pig in its mouth.
How dare you!
You could do another lightning bolt if you wanted.
Lightning bolt.
All right. So he's got to roll a dexterity saving throw. What's your spell save DC again?
16.
And it does not make it. So roll 8d6 is going to take the full damage of this lightning bolt.
All right, so we got 15, 17, 21, 24, 28, 29.
All right. You shoot out another gigantic bolt of lightning. Thunder, boom, crashes across the area like the first one. Slams into the back of the basilisk. It falls to the ground. The pig flies from its jaws, and it now lies on the ground, smoking and motionless. You have killed the basilisk.
Wait, and is there another one?
That's the only one that was here.
Well, should we get his stomach? Since nobody got petrified, we could just give the stomach to Greethan.
And you could get a pig.
If you really want to take their poor pig, they only have 2 pigs.
I want a pig!
You're going to take 50% of their pigs.
Yes.
So they won't be able to make any more pigs. They'll just have one
First,
useless
let's
pig.
breed the pigs. Let's breed them.
We should take the dead pig back. They might be able to carve it up.
All right, so
Okay, all
so,
right.
so the basilisk is a couple 100 pounds, and the pig itself is probably about 100 pounds on its own as well. So how do you want to do this?
Oh, we can go tell Greethan. I'm sure they've got mage. You can't lift more than 8 pounds?
10 pounds, I
10
believe.
pounds.
10 pounds of
She
pressure.
could turn into
Wait.
a burrow, and we could put the pig on the burrow.
Wait,
true.
I could turn into an animal, and I could be a stronger animal that I could carry.
Yeah, you could totally turn into like a Clydesdale horse if you wanted to, and
I'm
just
gonna-
pull the creatures behind you.
I'm going to turn into whatever you just said.
Okay, so
And
big
then I'm
horse.
going to get
All right.
myself a baby pig.
Right on. Okay.
All right.
So let's drag him back to Greethan.
All right.
I don't know if basilisk's good to eat, but there's got to be some useful stuff they can get off that thing. All kinds of magical.
Well, from what you've seen of the
Parts.
people, you gather that they probably aren't the pickiest of eaters.
And it's already cooked.
So it's the middle of the night by the time that you get back to the farm where Greethan is. So he lives in a little stone building next to the farm area, and it's dark, doors closed.
I guess we can knock on the door. Okay, she's chanting. I'll knock on the door.
Greethan answers, and he's rubbing his eyes. He's like, "What do you want?" "Oh, it's you. Did you get poop?
I can't speak it, so
Yes.
thank you.
Excellent." And he looks past you and he sees, "Oh, but you lost the pig." All right, we've got to bring him to the butcher. That pig needs to be slaughtered as soon as possible so we can utilize the
Can we use
The meat.
Make it to make bacon?
this. Yes, and ham, and sausage,
And pork chops.
and pork chops,
Pork chops.
pork butt roast,
Pork
Pig's
butt
feet.
roast.
tenderloins.
Butt roast. Pork butt roast.
Pork loin.
It's like, so like one moment, and he goes back inside. So he comes back out. He's got a cloak on. He's like, "Follow me," and he leads you back into the city. And again, the only indicator that it's nighttime is just that area further on into the city isn't lit up. But you still have all
Still the light- the light
Mountain
of
Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain
Yes.
Dew light is everywhere. And he leads you to a building, and he pounds on the door, and he yells out, "Panjad Verthasathagish! Wake up, you lazy boy!" And do the three of you recognize that name at all?
Say that again.
The name was Panjad Verthasathagish.
Sounds a little like Jed.
So you do so it's the same name, because when you first met Jed, he said his full name was Panjed, but you can call him Jed because your people have problems with his name.
Is it Jed?
And a dragonborn, a very tall dragonborn, answers the door, and it
Jed.
looks like Jed, but this Jed looks far younger and is thinner. It's almost like this is Jed as a teenager. Dungeons & Dragons & Daughters is a proud member of the Block Party Podcast Network. Check out other shows such as GM Showcase, Story Arc, We're So Bad at Adventuring, and more.